Soul, a podcast for a better you. Your host, Steve Hudgens, is a licensed professional counselor. On a non-emergency basis, you may contact them at area code 918-280-8690 or coachsoul.com to provide them with new topics, feedback, or to request an appearance on the show. And now, here's your host, Steve Hudgens.
Hey, welcome back to Coach Soul. You know, it's a great way to start a new year, 2024. This is our first full week. And, you know, I hear a lot about weight loss, New Year's resolutions, New Year's goals, and It's all about that goal setting. But Kenya, I think that with goal setting, it's not so much about goal setting. It's more about how do we align ourselves for 2024. What do you think?
That's it. That is actually my word for this year. Alignment, 100%. And I just want to ask the listeners, how do you feel when you hear the word goal setting versus alignment setting or alignment awareness and being pulled by that alignment? To mirror your true north for this year. Because obviously we want to have a clear direction. The desire is now what? Brand new year. The calendar resets. Let's reset our bodies. Detox. Let's reset our minds. Relationships. There's new seeds. And isn't that beautiful, Steve?
When I think about alignment, I go in my man brain. And I think of a car going into the tire car shop. And what do? They hook it up to the machine and they diagnostically realign the tires, because if it's out of alignment, it wreaks havoc on the car because of the tires wear down a lot quicker. And so I kind of equate what you're saying here is that we get these bumps in our life sometimes and we feel misaligned. Mm-hmm. And I kind of like what we're going here about realigning or just finding your alignment instead of a goal setting.
And I want to pick up on what you just said, because the beauty of our dynamic, if you will, and I want to start the year with gratitude for you, gratitude for all the male in my life, gratitude for all my female friends, gratitude for me, all parts of me. And in that note, I want to notice in my body what's out of alignment. And how do you notice? How do I notice? Is where there is pain. Because our body doesn't want to work against us. Our mind is not here to work against us. None of the pieces. Have you noticed, like, you cannot make the car keep going out of alignment. It messes up the tires. It messes up the motors. It messes up everything. But somehow we push our bodies. And we push the things that doesn't work, which is forcing it to work out of alignment in order to fill the blank. And I want to migrate this to leadership because it's a theme for January, right? In leadership, when I was a leadership coach, which I still am, but I was like within the container of leadership, like coaching hundreds of people. The idea here is that you always honor your word. Always honor your word. And I want to say that I 100% am behind that, but I take it lightly. And I tell you why. Because if I tell myself in 2024, I am going to give up gluten, which is actually one of my alignments. My body, I have felt that my body is not working well with gluten. Now, I don't overeat gluten, but I have noticed that I'm more bloated and I might be developing something. And I also know that the gluten of today is not the gluten of used to be, like my grandmother when she was born 1927. You know, the gluten was different. If it does feel modified, it does feel so-called unhealthy. So let's say if I start February and continue to March and April without gluten, and then I decided that my body actually would like to have gluten. I'm using gluten as example, but it could be anything. Am I breaking my word, or am I listening to my alignment in the moment?
You know, that's a good question, Because when I think about what I'm hearing here, often I try to express to parents about being careful about how we promise or say things to our children. So, like, let's say it's Tuesday, like it is today, and we tell our kids, hey, we're going to the zoo this Saturday, but we didn't check the weather. We didn't
Thank
check
you.
anything.
Mm-hmm.
And so when we don't check out things in the bigger picture scheme of things, we tend to break our promise because it started raining. And so now our kids are upset and everything. So that's almost the same thing what I'm hearing here.
It is and it is not.
Please
Because
explain.
if I am listening to my body have shifted.
Yes.
So how about this? I promise to be in alignment with me. And for right now, my alignment is no gluten. And if my body tells me something else, I will listen and I will shift with it. Because otherwise, who is giving it a medal of, oh yeah, I did everything I promised. I am fantastic. Well, did it cause pleasure? Did it cause alignment? Did it cause more connection? Because my kids call me out, Steve. Oh, my daughter, she will let me know, Mom, you're breaking a word. You said we were going to leave and we're going to go shopping, and I was going to help you pick up dinner, and it's 5 o'clock and we haven't left. And I said, honey, things have shifted. And I am sorry that I didn't communicate that things have shifted. And it looked like I was breaking my word. In reality, I felt like doing this before our dinner time, it was more important. So I'll be fully present during dinner. I wouldn't be thinking about this phone call hanging over my head of somebody that actually had an ER, an emergency to reach out to me. My one-on-one clients, they have the perk of reaching out to me, for text. And I want to be complete with that. I was like, oh, Mom, I understand. And then she suggested, if this happened again, can you just let me know that something else showed up so that I am not hanging? My 8-year-old says that.
But that comes from good parenting skills here of helping her to facilitate her own regulation of emotion and understanding, her feelings and emotions, but yet allowing her to express herself.
100%. And I grew in my leadership. Because she showed me a blind side. It's like, okay, so her perception is me breaking my word. My perception of me is, in order to be fully present for dinner, I got to handle this.
So I have a question for you. I want to challenge you here because I want to be able to help our listeners to look at the what we're looking at as the shifting and alignment and things of that nature.
Mm-hmm.
When your daughter called you out, sometimes people can have child hurt wounds and take that personal, and then they yell or get upset with that child. Well, you have these wounds per se, and
Yes.
she called you out. How did you maintain that alignment? I think that's important for our listeners to learn is
wow. I love this
know,
question. So
how do you keep that alignment in place?
if you see me in the video right now, you see that I'm closing my eyes. When I feel trigger, or do I feel like, oh, this could trigger me? This could remind of, there's a resonance of something in the past, right? Feeling not good enough. I can't believe I'm breaking my word. Oh my gosh, she's going to have wounds. She's going to be one day in a master class, in her childhood wounds because her mother, blah, 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 whatever. I close my eyes and I go within, and truly takes me a split of second to hear that what she's asked, what is the frequency underneath the frequency? So instead of bursting out and react, I close. I take a breath. And the frequency behind the frequency is, she's not blaming. She's not in blame. She's asking for love. She's asking for connection. She's not putting me down. She's not saying I am less than. She's saying, Mommy, I miss you. This has been the highlight of my day. I have my purse ready. I have my puppy purse ready. I've been at the door. And you're saying you're coming and you didn't come. She's not saying I'm a bad mother.
Right.
She's just saying, I am thirsting for connection, and I'm believing that you're coming and you're not coming. So I get to remember that. That is all love.
And that's important to be able to understand. And it's like I try to help parents too when they get upset because their child got into the flour and the flour is all over the kitchen and the child's only 2 or 3. And how does that help that child in alignment when the child is somewhere playing and goofing off within innocence? Do we bark at that child and be upset because they got into the flowers all over the floor? Or we get down on their level and play with them for a moment and say, now we got to clean this up?
So I was there recently. It's
Okay.
been only 6 years ago that I was there with toddlers. And here's what I can tell you about my third child. Actually, I don't recall. I'm going to be careful when I say that. I really don't recall being upset when my kids do childish things. I remember having the thought of being upset. And I have a few videos of Aliana with permanent marker all over herself, putting lipstick on, but it's permanent marker. I was like, no, and then I crack laughing. What does she know about the marker? What do they know? I mean, they are truly in curiosity. Their veil is so thin about discovering. So the communication here, Steve, is with our beloved mothers that are listening. The conversation is not about the toddler. The conversation is can you be so kind to your little girl inside of you? Can you be so kind and remind yourself that even though your mother screamed at you, you can reparent and co-create something completely different for you as a mother. You get to remember that you are the creator. And again, in that point, we're back into leadership. Because leadership is that you're the creator, period. No one to blame, not a victim of anything and anyone, the weather, the child, the husband, the dog, God, the devil. You're not a victim, period. You're the creator. You are always in choice. You're in a choice point on a daily basis. Do I wake up and go straight for water or for donuts? Do I wake up and put my feet in the floor in gratitude, or damn it, that's another day of work. Sucks. I'm so grateful I'm alive, or oh poo, is Monday. You are in a choice point. Let me speak for myself. I am. Every breath is a choice point. I hear people saying in books all the time, and this is my version, hey, stay in the step you're at, stay in the step you're at. I say, stay in the breath you're at.
What's the difference there, Kenya?
In this breath, all is well.
So what do you mean by breath? What is the difference between...
Literally breath. Let's take a breath right now through your nose. In this breath, is your mother spanking you? Answer.
Ouch.
No. 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 In this breath, are you triggered? I just felt chill.
Peace.
No, there's peace.
Right.
If you are in this breath, you're in creation. You are aware of your power.
It's training of the mind.
You're in a stronger mindset. Yes.
Right. The more, and that's what I wanted to let our listeners know. I was being sarcastic when I said ouch, because if we stay in the mindset, we're going to create the pain. We're going to recreate what we've been living in. But if we take that moment and train our brain, we can be able to rewire, reconnect, be able to establish an alignment.
Yeah.
That breathing is like the car being plugged into a machine, diagnosing the car and where it needs to be aligned. So when we breathe and take that moment to take that peace, and this
to take
is
your
why
power.
Right.
When people
it's 15
people
minutes.
say, take your power back. Oh, I hear many women that feel like, I'm so triggered. What do they mean about take my power back? What is it? And then some people interpret it. I know I did. I interpret it as Oh, damn it, I'm just going to make shit happen. Sorry, I just, curse.
We'll beep it.
I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to do it. I'm just
Right.
going to make it happen because it needs to be all me. That is not alignment. That's victim. It's all on me. It has to be me because I tell everybody to do their thing. Then how can I say that? Because that was me.
Right.
See, saying that I am the creator of my life means that my joy, my alignment spreads through the house as the heartbeat of the house, which I am and every mother is, by the way. The feminine is the magnetic heart of the house. So the best way to create alignment for everyone is take really great care of your heart, of your body, of your joy, of your presence. Lead by example, by how you exude. It dawned on me, oh my gosh, if I don't shift, my daughter will think that being in motherhood is the hardest job in the world, because people say that, oh, it's the hardest job in the world. And I know they mean well, but it feels so heavy and tiring and exhausting, and it's acceptable to be tiring, exhausting. I say it's the greatest job in the world. It is a pleasure. I get to be the best mother I can be.
But here's the thing I want to challenge, right? Is that you have been able to create this mindset for you, and to be able to have a great dynamic, a good dynamic with your daughter, and the interchange that you can have with her in training her. And you said to set the example. A lot of times when I come across things in therapy, there were no examples, good examples for them to abide by. And we've discussed your examples too, that there was nothing to abide by. So here's the question. In order for us to have a good alignment, but to be an example, where do you go to find that leadership example within?
Okay.
Especially when you're in a negative environment.
So please listen to what I'm saying. First of all, Steve and listeners, there is no good alignment and bad alignment. There's alignment and there's not alignment. You know when you are in alignment when it is flowing. And that doesn't mean easy. It means it feels right. Because alignment also means that it's stretchy. It's not floating in the water, like no effort. There is effort, there is focus, but it feels right. If what I am saying, if what Steve is saying, it resonates, guess what? The law of vibration, the law of frequency says that you will only agree, you will only resonate if you have it within you. So you already have those frequencies inside of you. You already have the example inside of me. This conversation is your example. I didn't have the example. And let me tell you this, until when I'm going to blame my mother? She did the best she could. So I only blamed my mom when I was unconscious, when I was actually depleted of love, or at least that was my perception. When I felt rejected, alone, left out, abandoned, all the things. But if my mother would hear this, it would break her heart. It was never her intention. Hurt people, hurt people, hurt people, hurt people. So again, if you're listening to this, until when you're going to allow the frequency of hurt people to perpetuate to the next generation, get passed down to you and your kids? If you're listening to this, I dare to say you get to be the one and rise up and shift everything in this generation and in the next to come. You get to be the leader because you can hear.
Right.
If you can hear, it is for you. And now you step into courage. On not knowing the how, being detached of the how, because I didn't know how, but I made a decision, Steve. I made a decision, listeners, that this disease stops with me.
When I hear the word courage,
Courage.
My mind immediately goes to the movie The Wizard of Oz when he was looking for courage. And a lot of times we think that, I don't know, it's hard for me to find that courage when I feel beat down. It's hard for me to find that courage when all the negativity is against me. Again, check your alignment. When we start playing victim within ourselves, and believe me, I've been there, because
Oh,
when I had cancer, it's like I said, why? Why?
yes.
And I
Yes.
got angry with God, and I said, why? And I had to shift. I had to realign. And I stopped asking why. And I started asking, what do I need to learn from this?
Hmm.
And that
Yes.
changed my gear shift into looking at, what can I learn from this perspective?
Wow.
And from that learning, it has helped me to develop into a stronger individual that's being able to help other individuals who are in that same boat or in a different boat. But just the strength of learning, what is it that I can learn in this
Hmm.
moment? Because growth comes from pain, unfortunately. I wish
Well,
there was other ways.
well, there is,
Okay,
Steve.
challenge. How would you do it?
Design.
Yes.
Design. The alignment workshop that I was telling you about. That's exactly what we do. We're
And
here
put a
to
plug
grow in
in for you.
2024. We're here to grow in 2024. I mean, we're here to grow every day. But because God resets the calendar year, it feels much better to plant new seeds. When you are growing by design, you are checking your body, you're checking your kids, you're checking your community. It's like, what would be the best version of me feel like? What qualities can I tap in by design? Well, I could definitely use more courage. Definitely embody this leadership that Ken and Steve is talking about it. Because the truth is, and do I have permission to just bathe you in truth? You are if you say you are. Yes, there is blossoming into it. But before blossoming, you plant the seeds of truth. I plant tomato to get tomato. So I'm planting the seeds of leaders. You are a leader. You don't become a leader. You can blossom into a better leader. But if you say you are a leader, you are a leader. We are all leaders. But then, not but, there's many levels of leadership, which is practice, which is honoring your word, which is believing. I'm here holding a huge umbrella of belief that you already have it. What you're searching for is searching for you. What you think you don't have are shadows, are voices of programming. When is now the right time to drop the lies and embrace the truth? And let me tell you, where is the truth? Breathe in. Your heart's desires are the truth.
Now explain that a little bit more, because if somebody has the heart desire of just being an alcoholic, is that truth?
I bet $1 million that no one is sit here with the heart's desires of being an alcoholic. They are tapping into a pain that is being numbed by.
There we go.
It's probably generational pain. I dare to say this generational pain. My dad did this, and then dad, and then I just can't see it. The heart's desire here is truly creating impact. Every single person that I meet crave legacy.
Right.
They might not call a legacy. They might not call it impact. Every influencer that you say I'm speaking with me, okay? Sometimes I see an influencer and my heart just opens like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. More of that, please. It totally resonates. Sometimes I see an influencer that triggers ego. Like, oh, she's just doing this for ego. He's just doing that for ego. And then the Holy Spirit comes here and say, is it really, or is it you passing judgment? So
On who?
I don't dare I can't go there. I will not. I choose to not go there and label nothing negative. If I want to see more positive in the world, if I want to see more unity in the world, if I want to see more peace, if I want to see more love, I get to be the one that generates truth and love.
Right.
And that is everyone. Everyone has a variation of that. It might not be truth and love. It might be, okay, for me is miracles. I really step into miracles. I believe in miracles. Great. What's it for you? Is money. Like for my husband, he just wants to help everyone be financially free because he has experienced so much pain in financial slavery. Like he has a true passion into, let me help you understand money, because money has kept generations captive. Like, what is your desire? And that desire comes from having so much pain that you want to help you and humanity to rise above. That's what I call your heart's desires.
And that's a great way to be able to end this podcast. And so that we can pick it up next week to be able to talk about alignment. Real quick, can you, because we got about 2 minutes left, do a plug-in about your website. How can people be able to find this alignment? And I think it was geared more to the direction of women.
Yes.
Just go ahead and put that plug in, please.
Yes. So in the beginning of the year, I had a pleasure to just open this free alignment masterclass workshop. I like the word masterclass better because I wanted to feel light, not work, right? And you can go to my website. It's kenyaevelyn.com. Evelyn, you just put the link below. And it's completely free. I'll run to you exactly the step-by-steps into getting to your body first. Check your own alignment. Check what is every piece talking to you, and really decode that into the paper versus looking from the outside and create your goals from what would be nice, right? Really learn to listen. And let me tell you, just the playing with words, alignment setting versus goal setting, it has created so many shifts in the women I serve. And I serve men too, because it's the same information. It's just the language is more of a feminine language, because my heart's desires started, I became who I am out of the love for my little girl, of the love for my kids. I really wanted to be the kind of mama that could hold everything in light and in love. It was too heavy. Motherhood was too heavy. Motherhood was, I felt like I had to not be myself, to set myself, like put myself on hold and serve the family. And that did not serve me at all. It felt like sacrificial giving. So if you hear me today, just know that your alignment is freedom for everyone. It's freedom for you, your kids, your husband, because you get to honor every part of you and love every part of you so that you set your family free to do the same. I love you so much. And I see you next week, Steve.
Yes, until next time.
Go to my website and you have all the downloads in there. Love you.
Thank you all. Bye.
Thanks for joining us today. We hope to have you back next week. Until then, be safe and be kind.